Albania, Mediterranean coast, the pristine Albanian riviera, birthplace of Mother Teresa, but also a country where a 15th century customary code, the Kanun of Leke Dukagjini, still demands blood revenge across generations. Albania, UNESCO, World Heritage City of Berat, ancient Illyrian civilization going back 3,000 years, but also a country where hundreds of families remain trapped inside their homes because if a male family member steps outside, the rival clan can hunt and kill him under Kanun rules. Georgia, birthplace of wine, 8,000 years ago, the breathtaking Caucasus Mountains, but also a country where police often return abused women to the husbands who beat them, where restraining orders have been falling, while domestic violence has not. Georgia, Tbilisi Old Town, a UNESCO heritage site, a vibrant civil society, but also a country where the UN High Commissioner himself recently said, quote, "I regret the restrictions on civic space in Georgia. These are countries where my persecutor is not the government. My persecutor is my own family, my own brothers, my own husband, my own clan elders. The police won't help me, the courts won't help me, the government won't help me, because in their eyes, this is a family matter. So I ran, I am in the UK now, I am in the US now, I am in Canada now, I am in the European Union now. Can I get asylum for this?" We base these videos on the analysis of real cases of people facing persecution in their home countries. We are country expert witnesses from London, focusing on human rights violations. We receive cases from major law firms who represent asylum seekers in the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and the European Union. Our goal is to prepare evidence-based assessments and expert witness reports for asylum tribunals. Today, it is a story about people threatened with blood feuds, family persecution, and non-state violence in Albania and Georgia. People flee non-state persecution from at least 10 countries. If this is your case, and you need a country expert report for your asylum claim, the link is in the description. Let me give you the numbers, because this is not just one family story. Violence against women and family-based killings are a global emergency. Around 50,000 women and girls worldwide were killed in 2024, most of them by family members. This is the official UN figure stated by Volker Turk in February 2026.
Around 50,000 women and girls worldwide were killed in 2024, most by family members.
But the situation does not end at the border. Even after victims flee, family networks track them across countries. Honor-based and clan-based persecution crosses borders.
Overall, most perpetrators of gender-based violence continue to go scot-free, including men who are directly responsible for massive and brutal sexual attacks.
In the United Kingdom, Albanian asylum claims have been consistently in the top 15 nationalities. Grant rates for blood feud and family violence cases typically range from 45 to 70%. In the United States, asylum grant rates for Albanian and Georgian women fleeing family violence are between 35 and 60% in immigration courts. In Canada, Albanian and Georgian recognition rates are typically above 55% at the Immigration and Refugee Board. Across the European Union, grant rates vary heavily, typically between 25 and 55%. From Albania, around 6,000 to 9,000 people claim asylum in the UK every year. Albania has been consistently in the top 15 UK source countries. Cases involving blood feuds, family violence, and the Kanun have grant rates between 45 and 70%. Now, the laws and customary codes. The Kanun of Leke Dukagjini, a 15th century customary code from northern Albania. It governs honor, hospitality, family obligation, and blood revenge. Known in Albanian as Gjakmarja. Under the Kanun, if a male family member kills someone, the victim's family is allowed and expected to take a life in return. The feud can pass down through generations. Article 78 to 83 of the Albanian Criminal Code They criminalize murder. But blood feud killings are very rarely prosecuted as such. Many are recorded as ordinary murders, or even as accidents. The Law on Measures Against Violence in Family Relations, 2006. Albania's main domestic violence law. Enforcement is extremely weak. Police often refuse to register cases. Protection orders are rarely issued in remote regions. Now, the key fact about state failure. In 2013, the Albanian government abolished the National Coordinator for Blood Feuds, the only state body specifically focused on this problem. No effective alternative has replaced it. Today, hundreds, possibly thousands, of Albanian families remain self-imprisoned in their own homes. If a male family member steps outside, he can be hunted and killed by the opposing clan. Children grow up without going to school. Men cannot work. Women carry the family economy alone.
Many women endure these heinous crimes in silence, paralyzed by pervasive stigma and fear of their communities.
Full expert reports on Albania and Georgia covering blood feuds, family violence, the Kanun, domestic violence, and the failure of state protection are available on our website, link in the description. You can use those reports in your asylum claim. From Georgia, asylum applications are smaller in number, but grant rates for cases involving domestic violence and family-based persecution are typically above 50% in the UK and Canada. The Law on Elimination of Domestic Violence and the Protection of Victims, 2006, amended 2014. Georgia's main domestic violence framework. On paper, it defines DV broadly and provides for protection orders. But enforcement is weak. Restraining orders issued on behalf of women fell from around 10,000 in 2021 to around 8,000 in 2025, while underlying violence has not decreased. Article 30 of the Georgian Constitution defines marriage strictly as a union between a man and a woman. This has been used to deny protection to LGBTI individuals fleeing family violence. The Family Values Law, 2024, and the Law on Foreign Influence, they have severely restricted civic space and women's rights organizations. The UN Committee on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights raised serious concerns about both laws in February 2026, and the UN High Commissioner himself named Georgia directly in his global update.
In Georgia, I regret the restrictions on civic space.
This matters for asylum. When civic space shrinks, the organizations that protect women from family violence disappear. When women's rights groups are labeled as foreign agents, they cannot help survivors. State failure to protect becomes structural. This is the heart of the video, the expert assessment. Asylum is granted, first of all, when the state cannot or will not protect the victim. So let me explain why non-state persecution gives a strong asylum claim. In both Albania and Georgia, your persecutor is not the government directly. Your persecutor is your own family, your clan, your village, your ex-husband, the opposing tribe. But under the 1951 Refugee Convention, persecution by non-state actors qualifies for asylum when the state is unable or unwilling to protect you. And in these two countries, the state fails to protect at three levels. First, the law itself is too weak, or it is bypassed by customary practice. Albania, Kanun rules override the criminal code in remote northern regions. The National Coordinator was abolished in 2013. Georgia, the domestic violence law exists on paper, but protection orders are rarely enforced. The Family Values Law and Foreign Influence Law restrict civil society. Second, the police often refuse to act. They tell women to reconcile. They tell men in blood feuds to stay home. They do not arrest perpetrators. Third, when the perpetrator is a family member or a clan elder, there is no neutral authority left. The community is the persecutor. The UN High Commissioner was unambiguous about state responsibility at HRC 60.
Sovereignty does not mean ownership of people. All governments have a duty to treat all their people including their political opponents, fairly, to protect them from harm and to respect their fundamental human rights.
Now, internal relocation and risk on return. Courts sometimes ask, can you just move to another part of your country? This is called internal relocation. We explain why that does not work for non-state persecution. Reason 1. Family and clan networks cross provinces. In Albania, the Kanun applies in all northern regions, and family members travel south to Tirana to find their target. In Georgia, abusive husbands track women through small, tight-knit communities. Reason 2. National identification systems make hiding impossible. Both Albania and Georgia have small populations, under 3 million in each. Everyone knows everyone. Anonymous relocation does not exist. Reason 3. State protection is no stronger elsewhere in the country. The Kanun is recognized socially across Albania. Police complicity exists in Tirana as much as in Shkodër. Reason 4. Cultural shame travels. Honor codes follow the victim wherever she goes. The Western Balkans are a shared cultural region. Now, the expert conclusion. This is the standard expert position. The expert witness cannot accept or reject the applicant's testimony. That is the court's role. The expert assesses the applicant's account against the country's situation and provides a detailed conclusion on the risk of return to the country and the risk of internal relocation. In most cases, if the claimed information is accepted, internal relocation and return to the country are unsafe for this type of persecution. And if the court accepts the applicant's evidence, asylum can be granted in most cases. This is why a personal assessment of each individual case is critically important. What can happen if you are sent back? First, for Albanian men in blood feuds, execution, the opposing clan has been waiting. They will track you to your village. They have a right under Kanun to take your life. Second, for Albanian and Georgian women, return to abusive husbands or fathers, forced reconciliation, beatings, femicide. Third, for LGBTI individuals, public shaming, beatings, sometimes killing, particularly in conservative regions. Fourth, for those who fled interreligious or interethnic relationships, family-ordered killings under tribal codes. The Georgian Caucasus region has its own tribal traditions, parallel to the Albanian Kanun. Fifth, for human rights defenders, death threats. The UN Special Rapporteur, Rim Al-Salem, has spoken directly about this. And Rim Al-Salem has been clear that consent does not validate this violence.
We ensure that states and non-state actors, including institutions, fulfill their duties towards the female half of the world's population.
These outcomes breach the most fundamental rules of international law, the 1951 Refugee Convention. Article 33 on non-refoulement, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Articles 3, 5 and 14. CEDAW, particularly General Recommendation 30, on state extraterritorial obligation. The European Convention on Human Rights. Articles 2 and 3. The right to life and the prohibition of torture. The Istanbul Convention. The Council of Europe Convention on preventing and combating violence against women, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. This is the legal frame in which your case is assessed. Let me summarize. If you are from Albania or Georgia and you fled because your family threatened you with blood feud killing, domestic violence, forced marriage, or honor-based violence, your case is documented at the highest level of the international human rights system. The state cannot protect you. The law on paper is bypassed by customary codes. Police complicity is real. National identification systems make hiding impossible. Internal relocation does not work for non-state persecution, where the persecutor is your family, your clan, or your husband. In every major destination country, the UK, the US, Canada, and across the EU, courts have repeatedly accepted Albanian and Georgian non-state persecution cases. What you need is an individual case assessment. supported by an expert country report. If you have been refused, appeal. The country conditions have not improved. The UN Special Rapporteur, Reem Al-Salem, has been clear that this violence must end.
Enough is enough.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the Human Rights channel. Leave a comment below. Share this with anyone who needs to understand that family persecution gives a strong basis for asylum. And if you need a country expert report, the link is in the description. I will see you in the next episode.